Ladies and gentle sluts, she's done it again. I'll be honest with you, in real life, cowboys are not really appealing to me. I don't think I was built for the country lifestyle. But Theo Silva is making me think I could rally. I could change, right? You guys, I love this book. It was so good. Just a delightful addition to the Chestnut Springs series. I received an ALC of the audiobook. I feel like Elsie always gets very good narrators for her projects, but this is Joe Arden and Savannah Peachwood, which happen to be favorites of mine. And so this book in particular, I was very hyped for. This book is about Winter and Theo, and if you've read the series, you know that Winter is Summer's older sister. Summer from book 1, Fearless. Flawless? I wonder if Fearless is what the next one's going to be called. Now again, if you remember from the first book, Winter is a doctor and she was married to another doctor who was working at the same practice. Now her husband just so happened to be having an on-again, off-again affair with Summer, her little sister. He was her doctor because she grew up with a lot of health issues, and he sort of like groomed her and then like strung her along. It wasn't a case of like her sister trying to be a homewrecker. Like it was all his bad. But when Winter found out, she was pregnant with his child, and the stress of the situation and all this stuff, she ended up having a miscarriage. And, you know, obviously she was really sad about losing the baby, but a part of her was relieved that she wasn't going to be attached to this like predator for the rest of her life. So this book starts out, she has left her husband and is now working at a hospital in Chestnut Springs to be closer to her sister, closer to family, and to try to like meld those burnt bridges. And by burned bridges, I mean Summer and Winter have had a very hostile relationship all throughout growing up because Summer is Winter's half-sister. Their dad had an affair with the nanny, and that's how Summer was born. And Winter's mom is just a horrible human being and always tried to find ways to punish Summer for existing because it was a reminder of her husband's infidelity. And Winter noticed growing up as a little kid that whenever she would try to bond with her sister, she would get punished for it. She would get things taken away from her, or her sister would get like more heat put on her. And so for self-preservation, she just decided to become her mom's little puppet, to do whatever she wanted. And she felt like her mom, I don't know, was a little less aggressive if she felt like she was on her mom's team. And that's why growing up, Summer always thought that Winter hated her because Winter was always kind of an asshole to her. And because of that, even now in adulthood, Winter has this persona of being cold and frigid and uptight and mean and just sort of all around unlikable. It's giving Nesta Archeron. So shortly after she moves to Chestnut Springs, she runs into Theo Silva, who is Rhett from book 1's young bull riding protege. He is instantly smitten with her. He's heard stories about her and has always kind of been intrigued by the idea of her, but then he meets her in person and is like, I really like this girl. He likes getting under her skin. He likes how fiery she is, and that he just has a sense that there's more to her than this like brick wall she puts up. And he doesn't just want to get under her skin. He wants to, get into it. That sounds creepy, like he's a serial killer. He wants to get inside her, okay? So the first night they meet, they actually decide to hook up after a family dinner. And when I tell you, I DM'd Elsie about this and I said, how dare you? Because it's like them getting hot and heavy and then it fades to black and it's the next day. And I'm like, how dare you? I mean, I knew she was going to make up for it, and she definitely did. But not till a little bit later on. So before they ended up hooking up, they signed this contract on like a little cocktail napkin saying that they weren't going to tell anybody about this one-night stand that they were consensually getting into together. So a couple weeks go by, Winter starts feeling nauseous, and because she's a doctor, she knows exactly what's happening. She takes a pregnancy test, it's positive, and Theo is on the road. He's bull riding on the circuit. And so she has his number. She kind of tracks down his number and she tries contacting him. She leaves him multiple voicemails and he doesn't pick up. She does end up eventually getting text back saying, basically, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. And she says, I have something very important to tell you. And he says, just tell me. Oh, she's like, over text, I'd rather call you. He says, yeah, just text me. So she says, well, here's the deal. You knocked me up and I am not asking for anything, but I just thought she should know. And then she gets a message back saying, thanks for letting me know. And then nothing. And then there's an 18-month time jump. She has a little baby girl. It's about 10 months old. She's gotten much closer to Summer and the Eden family. She runs into Theo at a bull riding event where he's doing a demonstration, and he has never stopped thinking about her. In fact, after their one-night stand, he literally called his mom and said, Mom, I just met the woman I'm going to marry. He said, does she know it yet? And he's like, no, not yet. And in his mind, he's like, she's not ready for this. So I'm going to go off and do my thing. And when I come back, she will have had some time to settle, and I will have had some time to like get my stuff in a row before I start hardcore pursuing her. Because I knew it couldn't have been Theo that was getting her text messages and voicemails. Like, he would have responded right away. Turns out that while he was on the road, he had this personal assistant who was like screening important phone calls and stuff like that, just so that he could get his like head focused for his competitions. And apparently his assistant didn't think that someone calling and saying that they were pregnant with his baby was very important. So he got fired. And it was satisfying. Because Theo is back in town for a little bit, and he actually moves into the house next door to Winter. And at this point, she still thinks that he knows that she had his baby and that he ghosted her. And so she's like, why are you moving in? Why are you doing this to us? It's like really not cash money. And he doesn't really know why she's so upset, which makes him come across as even more of an asshole in her eyes. And he eventually does find out that it is his baby. And he has a mental breakdown. But like, quickly. And then he snaps into shape and goes into like best dad ever mode. Winter is so overwhelmed because she's done the baby thing basically solo this whole time. She's exhausted, and he comes in, he cleans her house for her, he makes her take bubble baths and relax and go get pedicures and massages while he watches their baby. And one night when the baby just couldn't stop crying and he knew she needed sleep, he said, go to sleep and I'll take night duty. She wakes up and finds him asleep in Vivi's crib with her, just like all scrunched up all around her. And it reminded me of this photo I have of my husband. So cute. It's moments like this when you just see a grown-ass man just so eager to console his child that he will contort into that just to calm his it'll melt you. So the whole time Theo's been doing this like best dad ever routine, he's also been like teasing Winter. He'll like go down on her. He loves to eat the kitty. He loves to dirty talk. He loves to tease. But he also doesn't want to push her into things that she's not ready for. And so he'll always give her hers and not ask for reciprocation, or when she tries to, he's like, no, this is for you. And eventually she just cracks and says, no, please disrespect me respectfully. And then we get the full flashback of their first time together. Delicious. Because Elsie Silver delivers. Her twat of an ex-husband keeps coming around trying to harass her. He ends up sending her a beautiful bouquet of red roses with like serving papers, asking for a paternity test to make sure that the child isn't his, even though they were sleeping in separate bedrooms. I thought it was really funny. So she did the paternity test and she let the roses get like moldy and black and dry and crusty. And then she ended up serving him the paternity papers back to his house with the dead roses, because we reciprocate petty with petty. Theo was on the road when the paternity test was asked for, and Winter called him and told him right away about it. And he was so upset that he kind of said, like, she is my daughter, right? And that was the wrong thing to say. They end up getting into a little bit of a fight, but then she flies down to where he's at with their baby and the dog, lays her heart out on the line. It was beautiful. Summer and Winter both decide that they've had enough of Dr. Douche, and they create a case against him for grooming and misconduct in the workplace. And the end of the book is this scene right here, where he's carrying her in that red dress and her cowboy boots to in front of the barn where they met at the beginning of the book, and he proposes, and she says yes. And then he wins his bull riding competition, and she's pregnant with another baby. Story, 5 stars. Performance, 5 stars. And I would give it 3 chili pepper spice rating. Read it.